consistently going to see 8 people in the box, which is right up from tight end to tight end on the offensive side. And they're just going to try to take the running game away from West Virginia and force them probably to throw the ball.
Well, Coach, in a situation like this, you've been involved in some all-star games. You have Coach Thayer. Before the week ends, everyone asks a question, bragging rights. How badly do you want to win? Everyone says, oh, they want to have a good game and no one injured. What do you think the coaches are going through? Coach Thayer, he's in the catbird seat right now, saying, "All right, we've got the lead. This is no pressure on me." Coach Neely saying, "Wow, I'm getting hammered. I need to turn things around, or people may be all over me after the game." What do you think?
I think that Coach Thayer has to be concerned about his squad in a letdown, and we'll find out from Don Sloan because he's got Coach Thayer on the sideline.
Thanks a lot, Coach Linsly and Coach Thayer. You've got to be happy with the way the team played in the first half. You've got a 28-7 lead, but I've heard Chad Brinker injured in the first half.
Chad bruised his chest. We have no idea how serious it is. We certainly don't want to take a chance with that young man's future, but the doctor, as a precautionary measure, took him to give him a quick x-ray, and if it's negative, Chad will be back and play the fourth quarter. But like I said, if there's any doubt, we don't want to risk that young man's future.
Well, how did you become aware of the problem? How was Chad feeling?
Well, in the locker room, he took a good shot and said he was in a little bit of pain, and the doctor was looking at it, and he said it could possibly be a cracked sternum, but probably just a bruise, but we just want to be sure.
Coach Bob Thayer of Ohio, Chad Brinker taken to the hospital. We'll try to have an update on him coming up later in the game, and now we send it over to the West Virginia sideline with Rick Terry.
Thank you, Don. I'm here live with Coach Tony Filberto, the defensive coach from the West Virginia team. Tony, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
What was the mood like in the halftime locker room? How were the players feeling? How were the coaches feeling?
Well, these kids are all-stars. They came to play. They've all come out of good programs. They've all been faced with adversity, and they know how to win. So they came out the second half. They're ready to win the football game.
What kind of defensive changes are we going to see in the second half?
Well, we feel we'll have a little more movement up front. We thought in the first half that our kids would be able to sit in our base defense and handle it. We're going to move a little more stun, a little more in angle.
Okay, continue to try to shut down Chad Brinker. He had a huge first half. He's got to be tough to stop.
No, he's a tough kid. We knew going in, that if we could stop Chad Brinker, we had a pretty shot at winning this football game. We hope to slow him down a little more this half and give our opportunities to the offense.
Okay, Coach Tony Filberto, thank you very much. Bill, George, and Rich, let's send it back to you in the press box.
Thank you very much, Rick. And West Virginia will be in for a surprise when they don't see Chad Brinker in the backfield due to that injury. And we have talked about it right here. We think maybe the possibility of Joey Lekanudos moving to tailback out of a fullback spot, or they have a number of options they really go to.
That's just it, Bill, is that you've got enough depth here that Clint Lekanudos has played a lot of tailback. That, as I said earlier, Eric Kramer is a guy who could start in a lot of these all-star games if you didn't have guys like Brinker and Drummond out here tonight. And you've got Josh Nagy from Union Local, so there are plenty of talented players that are probably very anxious to get out there and show that they can do this thing too. Well, there's a guy there that definitely can do some things to help West Virginia in a passing offense if he can get the connection from his John Marshall teammate. Look at this moon.
Isn't that beautiful?
I'm telling you.
Crescent moon.
Beautiful night here in Wheeling, West Virginia for the OVAC All-Star Game 1998. Bill Phillips along with the coach, Rich Walensky, George Kellis, Don Sloan, and Rick Terry, as you just saw down on the sideline. Jim Forbes and Kelly Alexia, they took over at halftime, and a fantastic job down on the field with the Queen of Queens and the sponsors and the band, and it's just a great halftime show. And coming up in the third quarter, a $10,000 kick. Jim Forbes will be down there. He was the lucky charm last year as they banged it through, did Andy Ford for $10,000. Will it happen again this year?
West Virginia's got some good receivers, Coach. I mean, Chad Adams is a good receiver, and I know Chris Butler is certainly capable of making some big plays with Josh Rine on the throwing end of it. Brett Pettinger had a good year last year for Wheeling Central. What is it with this thing that Ohio's been able to do that has been prohibitive as far as West Virginia getting on track with the passing?
I think the one thing that we saw in the first half was that Rine was under a lot of pressure. The offensive line did not settle in early in the ball game, and being able to stem the rush from Ohio. And what they need to do now that they have established Eddie Drummond as a threat, a definite threat at the running back position, you know, they need to look now at throwing a little bit of play action, you know, faking to Drummond, trying to look for the tight end, you know, crossing, or the wide receivers, you know, getting into those open areas in that secondary. I think that probably Coach Neely needs to go to the play-action pass a little bit, take a little bit of the pressure off Eddie Drummond, and then once they get Ohio into a situation where, you know, they're thinking pass, you know, then it opens up things for Drummond as a running back.
And if Ohio is able then to bring 9 guys up along the line of scrimmage like they did for most of the first half, that's very effective, not only in keeping Drummond under control, but it's also putting a lot of pressure on Rine, because they're getting some penetration and getting after the quarterback. So it kind of works both ways against every aspect of your offensive package.
Also want to mention at halftime, the 1988 OVAC All-Star squads from Ohio and West Virginia were introduced. And in that game back in 1988, Ohio won 12-7 in a good ball game. And George, that was a heck of a season for the Valley with some teams that won championships.
Indeed. In fact, from the 87 season, those players, particularly memorable seasons for Brook and Weirton Madonna, both of which were undefeated state champions, 13-0. Steubenville Big Red also went to the state finals, was beaten that year by Akron Bookville in double overtime with Ricky Powers and company. Hopefully we'll get a shot.
We'll get to talk about them perhaps a little bit more as the game goes on, but some great players from 1988, and they did a fantastic job back then in their 97 senior seasons, and tonight they were honored for their 10th anniversary of playing in this game. But as George mentioned, that was a great season in the Ohio Valley for football, with Brook, Weirton, Madonna winning state titles, and Steubenville Big Red getting to the state championship as well in Ohio. And West Virginia comes out throwing Rine a little bit high for the intended receiver, Chris Butler, and it will bring up 2nd down and 10. And Butler a little upset with his quarterback. He was open and he wanted to get his hands on the football.
It was a quick 3-step drop, Bill. He's just looking to run a little out to Butler. Butler was open. They were giving him an awful lot of room, and the ball was overthrown for an incomplete pass, bring up 2nd and 10.
Adams split to the far side. Filberto in the game. He is split to the near side. Handoff. Drummond, running room. Cuts it back. 1st down. Breaks the tackle to the sideline. If he keeps his feet, this will be interesting. Jackson against Drummond, and Jackson makes a great open field tackle at the 25-yard line. Drummond tried to cut back. Fundamentally, Damar Jackson did a great job of breaking down and staying with the runner.
That was a good open field tackle, because normally what you see in a situation like that is the defender overruns the ball carrier, but Damar Jackson was able to break down and make a good open field tackle.
Jackson, a brilliant athlete on a Cadiz club that went a long way last year under Coach Brian Mays. This is something special you see right here when he starts doing these kinds of things. There's 3 guys there missing. Kramer misses him, which is just unheard of. And then Jackson just manages to grab and hold on for dear life.
Chris Butler gets his hands on the pass, and he is down to the 10-yard line. A 17-yard gain on the play for West Virginia, and that is really the first click that you can really say happened for West Virginia on the passing game.
But West Virginia is starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm now. And
they get in the end zone right here. It'll create a surge of energy into their enthusiasm level, too, especially for their defenders who really got to suck it up.
Good throw, good catch.
Goal. 1st and goal from the 10. Can't quite tell if the ball is spotted inside the 10-yard line and if they can pick up the 1st down. Drummond ahead for about 4 yards on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and goal from the 6.
Gosney on the tackle, strong safety for Ohio. And Justin playing with a dislocated ring finger on his left hand. He came out of the game briefly in the 1st half.
He's played an
outstanding game. Yes, he has. He's played a very, very good game defensively. Him and Yurkovich in that secondary have done a real good job for Ohio, as well as number 14, Damar Jackson, as well.
Checking into the ball game, Adams and Butler, they split left and right. I formation with Pratz and Drummond in the backfield. Drummond looking for the corner. Breaks the tackle, cuts back, and is bottled up, but still manages to pick up a couple of yards on the play across the 5-yard line.
great defensive pursuit by the Ohio defense. Good force by the secondary. Ryan Constantini coming from the inside linebacker position, doing a good job. And here it is, the reverse angle right here. Also number 21, Clint Lekanudos doing a good job. Here it is right here. Lekanudos is the first one there. Slows him down slightly. And then good pursuit, as you can see, by that Ohio defense.
Well, how big's this play? 3rd and goal from the 5. Down 28-7.
Adams near side, Filberto to the far side of the field. Drummond and Pratz again in the backfield. And Pratz, the fullback. Touchdown, West Virginia. Nice call from the West Virginia coaches as they go in from 5 yards out. Chad Pratz with the first touchdown for himself in this All-Star game. And West Virginia has made it a 28-13 ball game.
They're looking for Drummond all the way on this one. And just a belly play to the fullback over the right side. We'll take a look and see the kind of blocking and get over there. Good movement there, as you can see. And good blocking on the linebacker on that side. Had him about 5 yards off the ball. And here it is from the back of the formation.
That's first time all night that I think we've actually seen West Virginia's front people push Ohio's people back into the secondary.
Shell on for the extra point, kick up, and I'll tell you what, if he was in the 45-yard, $10,000 kick, he'd have a shot
be fair.
We take a look at the scoreboard on your screen. The Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game, 28-14, Ohio on top. West Virginia trying to come back. We'll take a timeout. Back with more after this.
We're back on the OVAC All-Star Football Classic. The lead has been cut to 28-14 for Ohio. Coach Wayne Neely at halftime said what West Virginia needs is a big play, and they got just that from Eddie Drummond just before the first half ended, and they got that for him just after the second half began. Momentum clearly now resting with the offense of the Mountaineers as the kickoff happening right now.
They made a good point right there, too, fellas. You know, there's about 25 seconds to go in that first half after Ohio scored, made it 28-0. All of a sudden, Drummond goes 61 yards, and it changed everything in a hurry.
Damar Jackson of Cadiz on the return out to about the 21-yard line, and West Virginia pumped up on special teams. We'll see if the defense is pumped up and can come up with a quick stop against this Ohio offense, as West Virginia has cut the lead to 14 points.
Be interesting to see who ends up at the tailback position for Ohio.
Yeah.
Colby Street coming in will quarterback the Ohio team this quarter.
Coach Thayer, who can we see at tailback now that Chad Brinker's out?
Joey Lucchino will be our tailback here. And Joey has looked real good in our camp, hits the ball, hits the hole real well. We have a lot of confidence in him.
And he had been playing fullback, scored a touchdown in the first quarter.
Colby
here's
Street.
Colby. Put the ball away, Colby.
One thing that Street does not have is the great elusive ability that Masciarelli has. He's got good feet, but Masciarelli is a guy that might be able to get out of a mess like that. One thing Colby Street needs is a little bit more time, because he can hum it if he can see somebody open downfield. Believe me, this guy's been known to throw the ball 80 yards in the air.
I'll tell you, he was looking for Lekanudos down the middle of the field, and he just didn't have time to deliver the ball. And there you see him trying to escape and is unable to. Good defense by Tony Rine from Valley on that.
And off Lucchino, he gets across the 20, but not much, maybe a yard. And I'll tell you what, West Virginia's defense beating off the offense in their touchdown.
Well, let's say that for the sake of argument right here, that West Virginia holds them and gets good field position. You got yourself an interesting turn of events.
Sure do.
And the one play that Rick didn't mention on the big drive, 17-yard completion from Rine to Butler, moves that ball down, and if they can click just a little bit, that makes that defensive backfield stay honest for Ohio. Right now, 3rd and long for Ohio on offense. We'll see if West Virginia's defense can come up with a big play.
Well, they're really crowding the line of scrimmage.
Colby Street looking to throw. Patsy Chiodi had him wrapped up. Street unleashes one out to the 40-yard line, and George, you mentioned the arm strength. He threw that from the 8-yard line to the 40 of West Virginia,
while he's falling
backwards with a man all over him.
So that's, if I could do my math here, that's 52 yards in the air, Bill, with on his way to the ground with a man draped on him. That's not bad.
Patsy Chiodi from Weirton, Madonna comes in, has him by the leg, and he just throws it, and he threw a nice ball. Wright stopped running, thought the play was over, and the ball sailed right over his head and surprised everyone. almost picked off our man Del Bears. And if Del was aware, he's got great hands. Now, he's a fullback in high school at Martins Ferry. He was a great blocker, but pass receiver, I don't know.
Drummond's back, or
back to return,
Adams.
Chad Adams. Kramer to do the kicking, and a strong spiraling kick down to the 35-yard lines. Adams didn't touch it, or at least that's what he's claiming. Ball rolls dead at the 25-yard line, and it is West Virginia football.
It was close.
Adams is a pretty smart football player, and I think that if he had touched that, he would not have reacted in the manner that he did. But that's what we were talking about earlier with Eric Kramer. Now, there's a kid can do so many things. We saw him make the big defensive play in the first half. You know that he can be a weapon for offense if need be. He comes in, kicks a ball, and gets Ohio out of a deep hole right here. West Virginia could have had great field position.
You're right, George.
Instead, they do not.
It was a good kick. West Virginia had a single safety back there, so they've got a 1st and 10 from the 25.
Well, as we get,
Coach Wayne Neely, what are we going to see now on the
51 lead draw here with Drummond. Straight up the gut.
We keep it on the ground with Drummond. Here it is.
Whew.
However,
Nothing doing.
not what you were hoping for.
Number 60, Rich Smith from Edison, was there in a hurry. Took him down.
Tom Poe, 56, also getting a piece of the action.
I can't even hear.
Rich Smith had a great season at Edison, played primarily as a defensive tackle for Coach Greg Bain, and really came on in the senior year. He's got nice size, as you can see, 6'2", 235, good student, and will be continuing his career in college beginning in the fall.
Second down, fake the delay this time. Looking long, Rine has Adams. Oh, and almost caught as he went up over the top of Clint Lekanudos, who had great position defensively.
Good position.
I'll
Good
tell
pass,
you what.
good attempt at the catch, good coverage.
But just as importantly, he had a man wide open on an intermediate route about 10 or 12 yards downfield, and had he spotted the open receiver, let's see if we can see. We're probably not going to be able to see who that is from this angle. But anyway, he aired this one down the field to his buddy. There, you see the open man in the left of your screen. Was wide open with a seam to run downfield if he'd been able to get the ball delivered to him.
That play-action fake held those linebackers in there, George. That's why that intermediate receiver was open coming across the middle. There was no linebacker coverage in dropping.
3rd and 10. From the 25-yard line, Rine, quick look, Butler, and Butler has it go right off his hands, and I think Rine put it there, and Chris didn't extend quite as much as
Little short arm right there.
He might alligator arm that one a tad.
I tell you, that was an important defensive series for Ohio because they could not afford to let West Virginia take the ball, drive the field, and score.
Not only that, a minute ago they got Ohio backed up down
Correct.
here about the 10-yard line. Now all of a sudden Ohio's going to get the field position advantage.
Yeah, there's going to be a nice gain in yards here on the exchange of punts, George.
Chad Pratz to kick for West Virginia. 6:39 to go. End over end, spinning sideways kick, a crazy looking kick. Wright takes it at the 35. Trying to get to the far sideline, he won't. A group of tacklers just take him over, and he is down at about the 37, 2-yard return.
He's definitely down.
Definitely down. Everybody got a shot at him. Don Sloan was ready to run out on the field.
There's
Take
a
crack
flag.
at
I'll tell you something. This is going to be on West Virginia. I think the official was standing by a West Virginia player, and all of a sudden he took his hanky out of his pocket and threw it up in the air, so we're going to see what we have here.
Well, that's a real shame because this game has been void of penalties. Now we got an Ohio player we can see shaken up down here on the sideline.
It looks like Damar Jackson. And also shaken up out on the field at the 37 is Jeff Wright, who returned that kick. Personal foul unsportsmanlike against West Virginia. So Ohio with a couple of guys banged up. Don Sloan's down on the sideline. And Don, what do you have for us down there?
It's Damar Jackson of Cadiz injured on the sideline of Ohio. It's something with his bicep, and they think he's done for the game. A strained bicep or tendon here, so it looks painful for Damar Jackson. I don't expect him to be back.
I wonder if Rick Terry has any idea over there exactly what West Virginia was flagged for here. I mean, obviously it's unsportsmanlike conduct, but I didn't see anything.
I didn't
must have
either.
been something somebody said.
It had to be something that somebody said because there were no Ohio players around this West Virginia player. He was just standing next to the official, and the official just threw the flag up in the air right there.
Rick, what do you have for us?
Well, what I have for you is that the flag was for what we might call unsportsmanlike language, which is interesting because the West Virginia coaches have one of their chief gripes the entire game has been a lack of sportsmanship on the part of the Ohio players. So somebody was bound to get caught sooner or later, and the yellow hanky flew through the air, fellas.
A little
Thank you
trash
very
talk.
much,
I mean,
Rick.
it's all part of this thing, right?
It sure is. Right now, we're going to let everyone settle down. They're going to help Jeff right off the field. We're going to take a timeout from the OVAC All-Star Game live on WTOV9.
Each year, 4 million visitors bring over $1.5 billion to our area. They come for our recreational opportunities, our entertainment, our heritage, and our restaurants. And outdoor advertising lets these visitors...
Update me on both of those players.
Yeah, Damar Jackson looks like he has a bicep strain, partial tear of his bicep muscle, and Jeff Wright has a contusion to the left knee, and probably will be out a series or two at the least, and may be done for the night if we find any laxity here. I haven't got to examine him yet, but Damar's done for the night. So,
thanks, Jeff.
I tell you, Ohio's really beginning to hurt now. They started the game with 2 of their interior linemen in street clothes, so they lost those. 2 players have just gone down with injuries within the last couple of plays, and of course Chad Brinker is at the hospital getting x-rays, so they've lost 5 players off of their roster. They started with only 31, so they're down to 26 players right now.
The good news for Ohio, though, is that we're past the midway point of the third quarter, and they still lead by 14.
On first down, Mike Vizdak from Weir with the tackle. Clint Lekanudos on second down on the sweep. And he is taken down from behind, linebacker number 54 for West Virginia, making the stop. That's Morandi from Wheeling Park High School.
I know, George, you like him an awful lot. He's 6'5", 285. He's a nice-sized kid.
Sure do. I think I went to high school with his daddy, if I'm not mistaken. And let me say this. You know, we've got a lot of very high-quality players in this game. But now, as the flow of the thing changes here without Brinker on the field, clearly you can see what a special talent he was. And I'm sure if Drummond was not out there when West Virginia had the football, they would have an extreme amount of difficulty trying to move it against Ohio's defense.
Colby Street, all kinds of pressure. He's trying to get away. He won't. Patsy Chiodi from Weirton, Madonna making the stop. Also in on the play for West Virginia, Vizdak from Weir, and a host of tacklers taking down the quarterback from Ohio, but Patsy Chiodi will be credited with the sack tonight. And, Coach, I want to mention those injured players you mentioned from Ohio. Duke Fort and Mark Crow from Edison, Duke Fort from Steubenville Catholic Central.
And I'll tell you, you know, this is supposed to be a play-action fake, and nobody took the fake to the tailback. That also, George, is a tribute to Chad Brinker, you know, because if Brinker's in it, they're going to respect that run first.
Kramer to kick it away, high wobbling kick. Short, but it may be effective. Take the sideways roll, and Ohio needs to down it, and they do at the 31-yard line. So West Virginia, good field position as they exchange the punts again with 4:15
the time is
to go.
now, Bill.
Yeah,
the time is now for West Virginia, if they have the wherewithal to take control of the football game. Now, they're still down by 14 points, but obviously they have Ohio's offense doing some things right now. In the first half, they moved the ball at will. Right now, they're not doing that. And West Virginia's playing some inspired defense, and either West Virginia can make it click now offensively, or they just may not be able to get right back up in there.
Yurkovich is out of the game, too. Colby Street is in there as the free safety.
And off Pratz, he's ahead for 3 on the play. We'll give him 3 yards on the carry, out to the 34-yard line.
Good defensive play that time by number 52 from Ohio. That's Rine Constantini from his linebacker position. Did a good job bringing the cane down after a very, very short gain of about 2 to bring up 2nd and 8.
Well, you hate to see these injuries in this game. It's just, unfortunately, it doesn't look like any of them are real serious, but just any kind of an injury to these kids right at this point is, it's really, it hurts to go out that way.
You know, I'm looking down on the sideline. I don't even, there's Yurkovich right there. I was going to say I don't even see him down on the sideline, but he is there, number 7.
Drummond with a seam to the outside. Nice open field tackle. Drummond stopped at about the 38. And I believe that was number 28 for Ohio making the stop, Mike Gehrig, and he made a heck of a tackle, and he's a little...
He sure did.
He's kind of working out the kinks on that one.
Another versatile athlete right there, Bill, from Monroe County. Mike Gehrig was a terrific quarterback at River High School, put up some big numbers. they got him out here playing on a defensive side of the football. This is a pretty good play for a young man. Has to go in and take Drummond on, and
Sure is.
stops him cold.
Good defensive play.
Pickup of 5 on the play. 3rd and 3 from the 38 for West Virginia. Drummond spins ahead to the 40.
I think he's going to be short
by about a half a yard. George motioning.
No, I'm
Ford out
saying
there.
go for it.
That's what I'm saying.
This
Ford
is
out
an
there.
all-star game. What difference does it make? You need a half a yard, and you got Eddie Drummond. Oh.
The players on the field were even motioning we want to go for it, but they send in the punt team.
You know, Coach
Let's get
Neely,
a shot of the sticks, fellas.
Coach
because
Neely might be thinking of that 4th and short situation down inside the 10 earlier in the first half, too, when they didn't make it.
Or do they try and draw Ohio off with a long count if they don't call timeout and then reline it up?
Yeah, that's possible. But
I can't relinquish the football in this situation, down by 14 points.
He's going to snap it. He does. Pratz has it blocked.
I see what happens here.
So a bad situation in terms of crowd reaction becomes a worse one as Ohio will take over. Eric Kramer with the block. Ohio gets it at the 45. We take a timeout in the 3rd quarter. It's Ohio by 14.
Over there by number 7, Brian Boyd from Brook, and just had no one to go to, so that man-to-man defense on the corners with a free safety seems to be working fairly well right now for West Virginia.
And off, Lekanudos cuts back. He's at the 50, and will have a first down across the 45-yard line. A pickup of 18 yards on the play.
Excellent blocking.
Sure, and that is probably the pet play of anybody who runs a wing T. That what they call a buck sweep, Coach. And you can't run it any better than that with any more crisp blocking up front. You can see some big people out ahead of Lekanudos.
77, James Fisher from Bridgeport out there doing a good job of leading Lekanudos on that sweep to the left.
Yorkovich split to the far side. Wingback is Lekanudos. Handoff to McCain out of Buckeye Local. On the stop for West Virginia, Gino Ochap, 6 foot, 230-pounder. Defensive tackle, center on offense when he's on that side of the football. And we mentioned Ty Masciarelli, a walk-on at Ohio State, and he's going to have the odds stacked against him. But if he can open some eyes, he may get an opportunity. He had a